E riba, un dia wanneer we 18 de setembro de 2004 nos recordar 13 anos de um acto terrorista que cambia o mundo em sua totalidade. 13 anos passados, a América sofreu ataque do grupo Al-Qaeda, na hora que o grupo organizou um ataque organizado para sequestrar 4 aviões e derrubar esse aqui. Dois de torres gemelo aí na New York, este é o World Trade Center, uno del Pentagon en Washington y el último dangue na pasajero en Valente, o alanta contra la organización a prevenir que está aquí, a llegar a su destino y acá es hora de un área bajina, Pennsylvania. A 8h45 de meia, adrente noticia que un avión de American Airlines lo adal de un detorno en World Trade Center. Después de apenas algunos minutos, para 9h03 de meia, e de dos torres também queda confrontar com a mesma situação. Aqui está caminhando com a bem realizada com a América está sofrendo um ataque terrorista. Tem 2 horas depois sofreu ataque e mirando a explosão não consegui e torre não gemelo a derrumbar. O mundo a paralisar pendente de cada momento para mirar o que vai suceder. A família a começar a preocupar e a polícia e o corpo de bombeiro a começar a assinar trabalho e por resgatar mais tanto ainda possível. O ataque aqui que queda considerado o ataque mais grande da história de América, a causa total de 3.000 mortos e por lo menos 10 bilhões de dólares na dano material. Well, awe camina ko antes se torre gemela estava situada que da llama Ground Zero, esa que é um atração turístico, pero também um sítio de reflexão camina um tour por passe dona assim tributo na héroe nan questão com a falecer de ataque terrorista aqui. E mirando que aunque já 13 anos passados, pero o impacto estava uno sina grande que tá te ave mundo tá para quieto e corda riboje, nos colega Yentel tá conta nos com fresco recuerdo aqui tá ainda de memória de hope.
Nochi, Ronnie, and Nochi to everyone watching at home. Now, when I say the day September 11th, it may mean more to some than others, but I think it's safe to say that when I say that date, many of you or most of you know where you were at that time and what you were doing exactly. I was able to speak to an American official who had a role to play on that fateful day. Frank Malacuso is a retired police officer. He was on duty in New York City on September 11th, 2001.
I was a New York City police officer. Went down to the Twin Towers. I got there just after it collapsed, and we tried to help with the rescue and recovery.
As a witness in the city of that day and as an American, former Officer Malacuso says he will never forget no matter how many years go by.
I believe it's not going to heal anytime soon with all the stuff happening in the Middle East. It's still a sore spot, and the current events will be a hard reminder of September 11th, so nobody should ever forget.
As a former police official, Mr. Malacuso says everyone can make a difference in preventing terrorism or threats. His message to Aruba and the world is, be observant and speak up.
Never forget, and you got to always keep on your toes and just be aware of what's around you. And everybody could help with terrorism by just being observant and letting authorities know if anything looks unusual to you.
Everyone's emotions and feelings for this day differs depending on the impact the tragedy had on them. Now, has the world healed from the pain caused on this day? I was able to speak to people from different countries for their perspective. Take a look. Canada shares a border with the United States of America. When bringing up 9/11 to a few Canadian tourists, they say the day has little meaning to them.
I knew about it, but since I'm not an American, it doesn't affect me so much as the Americans will be affected.
I feel normal. I mean, I don't think of 9/11 as a sort of bad day or whatever. I just take it as a normal day.
Some Americans say the day reflects less and less every year due to the other distractions taking place in the world.
It's just an old story, and there's so many new ones. You're dealing with ISIS and all the other catastrophes in the world, Israel. It's just pretty sad.
Gustavo Culho is a journalist in Brazil. He says in school they acquired a better understanding for the day. He, along with other Brazilians, recognizes its impact.
It was a date that changed everything from that point on. and not just for Americans, but for everybody who was involved in some way. I mean, I'm from Brazil, and I remember when I got to school that day, a friend of mine came to me and said, "So, are you ready for World War III?" And I never forgot what he said at that moment. So it was a big day for everybody, and it was a very sad day. Brazilians died that day as well. So it was indeed a day that changed everything.
I think it's a major date. I remember exactly where I was in the day. I was at school, so I think everyone in the world has the same feeling. They know exactly where they were in that day. So it's a mystic date. I think everyone remember with a feeling, not a good feeling, and wishing that that feeling cannot repeat in another episode or event like that.
We forget. For ATV's Noticia, I'm Nochi. I'm Yentel Liu.
Dank je, Jentel.